9 to 10 p.m. Monday night on Liffey Sounds. The world you don't know. The world you don't know. 9 to 10 p.m. Monday night on Liffey Sounds.
Now, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're very welcome along to this Monday edition of The World You Don't Know with myself, Mick O'Connell. I've got a mixed bag for you tonight. We're going to start off by talking about Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The big day is tomorrow, folks. America's going to decide which gumbean they want to run their country for them. Now, I've been keeping my eye on the American election very much so for the last week or two. And beyond, just mostly keep my eye on Donald Trump and see what he gets up to next. Now, I'm not rooting for either of them. I think they're both a pair of plants. I've said this before on my show. They're just puppets. They don't have any power. Donald Trump has no power. Hillary Clinton has no power. She's the cabal's choice. She's the New World Order. Illuminati, call them what you want. She's their choice for this term, if you will, for the next 4 years in America. And here's the thing. If Hillary gets elected, and even if she doesn't, but here's what's going to happen if she does. One of the things she said recently on all the major news networks, CNN, ABC, etc., was that if elected, one of the first things she's going to do is she's going to introduce a no-fly zone over Syria. Now, what does that mean? Well, here's what it means. If she introduces a no-fly zone over Syria, you can bet within a week, a month, that the Russians are going to breach it, and one of their jets will be shot down, and of course you're going to get reaction. But what kind of reaction? Will it bring about a world war? Who knows? And if it does bring about a world war, well, then you can bet it's going to be a better World War III. It's not going to be sticks and stones or guns and tanks. It's going to go nuclear. Would it go nuclear with Donald Trump behind the helm? I don't know. But here's the thing. If Donald Trump gets elected, he's so far ahead of Hillary. No, I'm not talking about the polls in America. You know, don't be minding the polls. But as far as the media is concerned, if you watch the media, Donald Trump, every time he comes out with something about Hillary, it's usually something negative, like she's a criminal, etc., etc. Now, I've played this video on my show a couple of times over the last few weeks, where you can hear him at one of his own press conferences and his big rallies saying that Hillary is corrupt, she's a criminal, the system is rigged. I mean, he's telling everybody what people like myself have been espousing for years, that the system is rigged. I mean, I know the system is rigged. I've never looked at the system any other way other than a rigged system. But for the first time, for most Americans, who, if you watch the Clinton campaign or the Trump campaign, you can see how worked up the so-called voters get. Like, it's like they're meeting their pop stars, you know, for the first time. Like, these people are literally going crazy over politicians. I mean, Donald Trump is not even a politician. He's just a businessman. He's got no political history at all in America, Congress, the Senate, anything. He's never ran for office before, only this office. Hillary Clinton, she's got 30 years as a corrupt politician in Washington. But here's the thing, if Trump gets it or doesn't get elected and Hillary does, because Trump, whether you believe the polls or not, has been ahead as far as the media is concerned, because of the type of coverage he's getting. I mean, every time you see Donald Trump on television, he's berating Hillary Clinton. But the things that he's saying about Hillary Clinton are probably true. Now, the latest thing that's come out about Hillary over the last few days, from these WikiLeaks emails, the Podesta emails, is that she's involved in some sort of a satanic cult. Now, this is stuff that I was reading about many, many years ago. I had a book many years ago called The Transformation of America by a lady called Kathy O'Brien. And in that book, this is a book that was written maybe 15 years ago, maybe a little less, 10 to 15 years ago. Anyway, I mean, I read it about 6 or 7 years ago, but in this book, she spoke about Hillary Clinton, and she said she was raped by Hillary Clinton. Now, this is in the book. She also claimed to have been raped by George Bush, Henry Kissinger, Dick Cheney. I mean, she was naming all these top politicians as being satanic paedophiles, into Satan worship. And then you have this thing coming out then over the last few days with Hillary Clinton allegedly been involved in a satanic cult and doing something that is called what was it called now? Something spirit washing or something like that. I'll find out now in a minute. I'll Google it now in a moment for you. But apparently it's become the most Googled term over the last few days. Spirit washing, I think it's called. I'll find out now in a second. But this stuff is coming out, and it gets onto the mainstream. But here's the thing: they don't cling to it. Now this is a woman who is moving forward now, tomorrow, in an election in the United States to become the leader of the so-called free world. Not that we are free, but this is what people have been led to believe. And here you have stories coming out over the last few days that not only is she a criminal, you've had the FBI, funnily enough, taking a year and a half to trawl through 30,000 plus emails, 33,000 emails to be precise. And it took them nearly a year and a half to get through them, to finally come out then a few weeks ago and say, oh, Hillary Clinton is innocent, there's nothing in these emails of any interest to us, criminally speaking. So that's fine. WikiLeaks dumps another load of emails over the last couple of weeks. And the FBI reopened the case into Hillary. And here's the funny thing. How can anybody be allowed to run for that kind of an office whilst under a federal investigation? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Why would they even be allowed to run for office if they're being investigated for alleged criminal offences? Now, here's the funny thing. The FBI the other day announced that they're reinvestigating Hillary Clinton and this new batch of emails. And then they come back yesterday, less than 3 or 4 days later. And you have to remember, folks, it took them a year and a half to get through the initial 33,000 emails. And it took them 4 or 5 days to get through 55,000 emails and come back yesterday and then say, oh, there's nothing in these of any significance. We're not looking at Hillary Clinton anymore. Now, this whole election process over there, folks, and, you know, you might say, well, this is, you know, the American elections, there's always been a circus and stuff like that, but it's such a joke, and it's been shown up now for being such a joke that you would think that most Americans would be up in arms. But the media, I suppose, are showing you a different side of things. They're showing you whether it's people who are interested in Donald Trump or whether it's people who are interested in Hillary Clinton. But they're getting fanatical about it. You know, I mean, there was this thing there the other night, that there was an attempt on Donald Trump's life. There was no attempt on Donald Trump's life. There was a guy standing in the audience who claimed to be a member of the Republican Party saying, he had a sign up saying, Republicans against Trump. Because, you know, as far as most Republicans are concerned now, Trump has given him a bad name. But they picked him. What did they want? They knew what Donald Trump was. But this is all just a circus, folks. It's not real. It's not even a real election because, as I said, and I've said many times before in the past on my show, American presidents, and most presidents I'd imagine around the world, there would be a few exceptions, are selected. They're not elected. They're selected. Who are they selected by? Not by the people. They're selected by the money men, the people who are above them. That's who they're selected by. And I don't know. To be honest with you, I can't. Like, Obama, for example, you could call that election, you could say Obama's the man for that. You know, you could look at his opponent and, you know, there's no strength in them. As opposed to Obama's campaign. It's a big campaign, it's in your face, change you can believe in. And they had to have a black president, you know, because the time had come for a black president in the United States, so they got that black president. Now the time has come for a woman president, but it's not just any woman, it's Hillary Clinton. Now, I've been looking at the Clintons for many, many years. One of the finest documentaries I've seen about the Clintons was one that's probably still available on YouTube if you go looking for it. It's called The Clinton Chronicles. And in that documentary, they talk about, I don't know, it's 30 plus murders that are attributed or connected to the Clintons. Now, a lot of them are put down as suicides. You know, people tying themselves to train tracks and then shooting themselves in the back of the head while their hands were tied behind their back. You know, those type of suicides, which is like bunkum, you know that as well as I do. And this documentary linked the Clintons, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, to a lot of these things and a lot of dodgy deals going on, you know, within Arkansas when Bill Clinton was the governor and Hillary Clinton was one of the top lawyers in Arkansas. And she would have been defending an awful lot of, you know, scummy people and getting them off for kickbacks, getting kickbacks left, right and centre. And this is all in the Clinton Chronicles. And then I seen a new one recently called Clinton Cash. Now, our own esteemed Dennis O'Brien even gets a mention in that in relation to Haiti and the fact that his telecoms company's got the biggest contract in Haiti to rebuild the telecoms infrastructure. Contracts worth millions, hundreds of millions. But here's the thing, he got that contract because he made nice sizable donations to the Clinton Foundation. And anyone else who makes sizable donations to the Clinton Foundation usually end up with big contracts to rebuild houses in Haiti. I mean, I've seen stuff online about Haiti where saying that there was millions upon millions donated to the rebuilding of Haiti, and little or nothing has been done. The money's been siphoned off by the likes of the Clinton Foundation and maybe other foundations who've wound up in Haiti after the devastating earthquake they had a few years back. But it's just nuts, folks. It really is nuts. And the gas thing is, when you can see it for what it is, and you can see it for the circus that it is, it sort of becomes enjoyable to watch. And I know that doesn't sound right, because, you know, these kind of people, when they do get into power, not that they've got any power, but when they're put into these offices of alleged power, nasty things happen around the world. I mean, when Barack Obama got into power, look what happened in Syria. George Bush got into power, look what happened in Iraq and Afghanistan. The original George Bush got into power, George Bush Senior, look what happened in Iraq. I mean, what does Saddam Hussein do? Fair enough, he invaded Kuwait, but he only invaded Kuwait back in 1990 because the Americans gave him carte blanche to do so, and as soon as he did, they went in after him then. He was set up. What did he do after 9/11? Nothing. They never blamed him on 9/11. But yet he invaded Iraq, said he had weapons of mass destruction. They still haven't found them, folks. They still haven't found them. And then, you know, you go full circle to today and what's going on in Syria. They're painting Bashar al-Assad as a monster. I mean, maybe he is a dictator, I don't know. But I certainly wouldn't believe anything Western media tells you about him. You know, they're going to lie through their teeth, because that's what they do. That's what these people do. They lie through their teeth. But, who knows where Hillary is going to go next. If Hillary gets elected, I reckon that next on their list is going to be Iran. Now, they have said it before. I've seen videos before online where American generals who are leaking information were saying that the plan was to invade and basically colonise a certain amount of countries in the Middle East. Not because they wanted to colonise them or anything like that. It's to do with oil and resources, natural resources. This is what they're going for. But anyway, I'll get back to that in a minute. I need to go to an ad break anyway, so that's what I'll do now. I'll go to an ad break because there's something I want to queue up. I want to queue up a Donald Trump video that I found yesterday, and it's a funny video to listen to, actually. It really is. Gives you a flavour of who Donald Trump really is. One thing these people don't have is good memories. They forget what they say in the media, and this is a compilation of things he said on camera that completely contradict each other. But anyway, I'll get the video up while I have the ads playing, and I'll be back to you in a couple of minutes. I'll talk to you very soon.
Broadcasting to Lucan, this is Liffey Sound, 96.4 FM.
Now, folks, you're very welcome back. Now, I was talking about the Donald just before the break there, and the upcoming election in the United States tomorrow between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Now, I want to play a video for you. One thing I've spoken about on my show over the years, when it comes to conspiracy theories and the New World Order and all that sort of stuff, is the use of predictive programming in movies, Hollywood movies, and music and cartoons and magazines and all sorts of media. And I spoke before, actually, about Donald Trump's presidency being predicted in The Simpsons. And there's a scene in The Simpsons where you see Donald Trump as the president going down an escalator, and there's a girl, I think it's a girl, who's standing alongside the escalator, and she's got a sign in her hand. I can't remember what it said in the sign, but she drops the sign. And that was in The Simpsons, which was probably about 15 to 20 years ago when it was broadcast. And then recently a video popped up online, a real life video of Donald Trump going down an escalator. I think it was in an airport or something like that. And it was a very, very eerily similar scene to the one in The Simpsons. And lo and behold, there's a woman standing at the edge of the escalator and she drops a sign. Is that predictive programming? I don't know. But another one that I came across just today, and I was never aware of this until today, I was made aware of it, was the prediction of the two candidates, Trump and Clinton, in the movie Die Hard 3. Now, there was a scene in that film where you see them racing through New York trying to, Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson in a taxi, trying to solve these puzzles. And one of the questions was, who was the 43rd president? Now, Barack Obama's the 42nd. Tomorrow we'll find out, or Wednesday we'll find out who the 43rd one is. Is it Trump or is it Clinton? Have a listen to this clip. This is from the movie Die Hard 3. And then I want to play another clip after that of Donald Trump himself and his contradictions. And this is what I'm telling you, this whole thing is just a farce. But have a listen to the audio in this clip. Hopefully it'll be clear But have a listen anyway, and listen to what's been said between the two characters of Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, the characters that they're playing. Have a listen to this, and I'll be back to you in 2 minutes.
Let me explain. For the rest of the day, we're supposed to handle the department's communication.
What do you mean, handle?
They're shutting down the police wing. Phone calls will be coming through this switchboard.
And I'm gonna marry Donald Trump.
Not on the bridge! Carry him, McClay. Here we are. Let's go, come on. Shut the phone off. Come on, what's going on at 42? I don't have a clue. Well, what about Yankee Stadium? We'll get there, but that's another bitch is not getting over Manhattan. You think you're right, lady? Hillary Clinton? That's it. Well, Hillary Clinton. The 42nd president. She'd be the 43rd president. All right, but who's 21st? I don't know. I don't know.
Now, folks, hopefully you heard that. I know the audio wasn't great, but basically in the scene, they were trying to figure out who the 43rd president was going to be, and he said Hillary Clinton. Now, that movie, as I said, was made in 1995. Why would they say that? You know, she wasn't, I don't even think she was the secretary, I think she was the first lady back in 95. I think Bill Clinton was still the president, her husband. So why would they mention Hillary Clinton as the president in that movie? As I said, folks, it's predictive programming. They've been doing this for years in Hollywood movies, putting stuff into films. Like 9/11, for example, was predicted in so many movies. Subtly predicted, I might add. Just references to it and stuff like that. Not like direct information, say, well, this is going to happen in 5 years' time or stuff like that. It's just they put these little things into movies, into cartoons, etc., etc. And it's, to me, it's predictive programming. Now, it sort of ties in with stuff I've watched many times about the Illuminati, right? And that's just a colloquial term that's bandied about, I suppose, to explain the New World Order, you know, the elite power structure of the planet. Not presidents, not politicians. Above them, you've got this elite power structure. And it's colloquially, you know, referred to as the Illuminati. Now, one thing I have learned about the Illuminati, and this is through Jordan Maxwell, who's a great researcher. He's got a great website, jordanmaxwellshow.com, and he's got some great information on it. But I watched one of his lectures, and he was talking about the Illuminati and what they do in the world as a form of magic. Now, whether you believe in magic or not is irrelevant. That doesn't really matter. But the people who are allegedly practicing it at the top of the power structures on this planet, they believe it. So it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, they do. And, I mean, this sort of ties in with all this satanic crap coming out about Hillary Clinton over the last few days. And well, this is stuff I learned about years and years ago. But Jordan Maxwell, he goes on to explain that when the Illuminati are going to do something, say like 9/11, to them it's like a ritual. It's a big event. It's a ritualistic event. That's why the dates are selected, like the numbers, and it's all about numeracy and stuff like that. And it's all dark satanic crap, to be honest with you. But whether you believe it or not is irrelevant, as I said. These people who carry out this sort of crap, they believe it, and that's what matters. And what he was saying was, one of their beliefs is that if they're going to do something, say like 9/11, in order for it to work in their favour, because it's a form of magic or whatever, they've got to tell their victims what their intentions are, i.e. the world. They've got to tell the world what their intentions are. But what he was saying, what Jordan Maxwell was saying was, they don't have to tell you directly to your face. Say, listen, this is what we're going to do in 2001. They can tell you in other ways, in books, magazines, in movies, in music videos. It doesn't really matter, as long as they put it out there into the public consciousness. And this is how they do it. And this is what I'm saying, like, about Donald Trump appearing in a Simpsons programme many years ago, and Hillary Clinton getting mentioned as the 43rd president in Die Hard, which was made in 95, which is 20 years ago now, 21 years ago. Why would they say that in the movie? It doesn't make sense. But as I was saying about Donald Trump, he has no power. He's a billionaire property developer who has been chosen to run in this campaign, I think, and this is just my own opinion, to make sure Hillary gets elected. Why? Because he's been such a buffoon lately, and if anybody does it, you know, anyone who's going to vote in America has half a brain cell and they do a little bit of research into Donald Trump, even on YouTube, they will find a ton of contradictions that this man has come out with over the years. So I think he's just been put in there for the fun factor. Seriously, I really do. I don't think he's going to be the president this Wednesday. I think Hillary Clinton will be the president. She's certainly been selected. She's definitely the choice for the cabal, because I don't think they have such a hold over Donald Trump as they'd like to, but they certainly have a big hold over Hillary Clinton. Anyway, I'm going to play you this other clip. This clip is called Trump versus Trump, and it's Donald Trump, a series of videos. It's just a montage of videos for about 3 or 4 minutes of things he says. Now, you'll hear him make one statement, and then the next thing you'll hear is a complete contradiction of something he just said. So have a listen to this, and I'll be back to you in a couple of minutes. This is funny, even though it's not, to be honest with you, because he's the last man you want in the White House, but Hillary's no better either, so it doesn't really matter. But have a listen to this and see what you think. It's a bit funny, but I'll play it anyway, so have a listen.
You talk about people that lies. This Ted Cruz, this is the biggest liar I've ever seen.
John McCain, a war hero. He's not a war hero.
You do not think that is a war hero, captured or not?
I didn't say anything differently.
He's not a war hero.
This is the biggest liar I've ever seen. For those folks that are pro-life, I can fully, I concur with you 100%.
Partial birth abortion. Would President Trump ban partial birth abortion?
Well, look, I'm very pro-choice. I am pro-choice in every respect.
This is the biggest liar I've ever seen.
You said you would have shut down the government to defund them. You also talked about some of the good things that they do.
They do good things. This is the biggest liar I've ever seen. For those folks that are pro-life, I can fully, I concur with you 100%.
But you do think that there should be exceptions for rape and incest?
Yes. This is the biggest liar I've ever seen.
But let me say more broadly, you notice Donald didn't disagree with the substance, that he supports taxpayer funding for Planned Parenthood. And Donald has this weird pattern. When you point to his own record, he screams, liar, liar, liar. If you want to go...
Where did I support it? Where did I support it?
To go,
hey, Ted, where did I support it?
I would look at the good aspects of it, and I would also look, because I'm sure they do some things properly and good, and good for women. And I would look at that. And I'd look at other aspects also.
This is the biggest liar I've ever seen. I'm a conservative.
You said in August that you're, quote, fine with affirmative action.
I'm fine with it.
Actually, very conservative.
So you still support affirmative action?
I'm fine with it.
This is the biggest liar I've ever seen.
You've said many times that you opposed George W. Bush's Iraq War. But you said this in 2004, more than a year in, when it was pretty clear the occupation was a mess. Did you oppose the war before the invasion in March of 2003?
Yes, I opposed it all the time.
Are you for invading Iraq?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is that accurate? Do you remember saying that?
No, but I mean, I could have said that. Nobody asked me. I wasn't a politician. It was probably the first time anybody asked me that question.
But does that?
But by the time the war started, that was quite a bit before.
Yeah, this was 2002.
Yeah, by the time the war started, I was against the war.
What do you make of just how Wall Street's been reacting to what our military guys have been doing?
It looks like a tremendous success from a military standpoint, and I think this is really nothing compared to what you're going to see after the war is over.
This is the biggest liar I've ever seen. And we have to start by building a wall, a big, beautiful, powerful wall. It can have a gate, it can have a door. We'll let people in legally, but we have to stop what's happening to our country. This is the biggest liar I've ever seen.
I will be changing very rapidly. I'm very capable of changing to anything I want to change to.
This is the biggest liar I've ever seen. Obamacare is a disaster.
Well, I like the mandate.
Obamacare is a disaster.
Well, I like the mandate. I will be changing very rapidly. I'm very capable of changing to anything I want to change to.
This is the biggest liar I've ever seen.
Donald, true or false, you said the government should pay for everyone's health care.
That's false.
You've never said that.
Everybody's got to be covered.
Universal health care.
I am going to take care of everybody.
Who pays for it?
The government's going to pay for it, but we're going to save so much money on the other side.
Donald, true or false, you said the government should pay for everyone's health care.
That's false. The government's going to pay for it, but we're going to save so much money on the other side. This is the biggest liar I've ever seen.
Folks, I think you've suffered enough. As you could hear there, Donald Trump, completely contradicting just about everything he says. In one clip, he's pro-abortion. In the next clip, he's anti-abortion. Next clip, he's pro-Obamacare. The next clip, he's anti-Obamacare. Pro-war, anti-war. I mean, This man is running, as I said, to become the leader of the free world tomorrow. As I said, most people haven't, especially in America, most people haven't done just what I've just done there. Go onto YouTube and you can see how much of he's a nut job. The man's a head case. But who do I want to win the election tomorrow? I want Trump to win, and I'll tell you why. Because the next 4 years, it will make the news extremely interesting if Donald Trump wins. Looking at Hillary on the 6 o'clock news every night? No, not for 4 years. Absolutely not. I hope she doesn't get in. She's an arch criminal. But Donald Trump is no better, folks. I mean, he didn't make his billions by being very nice to people. You know, the guy's a psychopath. All these people are psychopaths at the very, very top. You know, there's an old saying, scum rises to the top. Well, look who our leaders are. All of them. Worldwide, it doesn't really matter. There's probably a few exceptions out there, but majority of people who make it to the top of the social structure ladder, call it what you want, are psychopaths by nature. You have to be. You can't be an empath. You can't have empathy for other people's, condition, for their feelings, for their way of life, stuff like that, and make it to the top. You have to stand on toes. It's the only way you're going to get to the top. And therefore, it's reasonable to assume if scum rises to the top, they're all our leaders are psychos. And they are. They're all psychotic. This is why they like to spray chemtrails in the air, put crap in our food. I mean, they don't breathe the same air we do. These people live in big plush houses. They've got clean water in their homes. They've got clean food. They eat clean veg. They eat clean meat. They don't have to eat the same crap the rest of humanity has to eat. But all these people want to do is get more and more power. And as I said, they're psychopaths. And this election in America proves it. And it proves it beyond a reasonable doubt. You've got Donald Trump coming out saying the system is rigged. I mean, I've known the system is rigged for years. I'm sure most people know the system is rigged. That's no great surprise. But not only that, he came out and blatantly called Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation a criminal enterprise. Now, if that's not true, there's an old saying, the best form of defence against libel is the truth. But if you're speaking the truth, you're not going to get sued. It's like David Icke, for example. He writes about the royal family and senior politicians in the UK and in America being involved in satanic paedophile cults, paedophile rings, whatever. And he never gets sued. Why? Now, some people might say, well, they don't want to give him any airtime. They don't want to draw any attention to his ridiculous claims. Well, come here, tell you something. If someone said that kind of stuff about anybody, about the average person, about me, about you, you'd do something about it. You wouldn't just take that line down. You would do something about it. You would sue them. Because if it's not true, you'd beat them in a court and you can sue them for whatever amount of money that you can get out of them. But if it is true, they're going to win. Because as I said, the best form of defence against libel is the truth. So what does that tell you about David Icke's books? Is he telling the truth? By what he's saying about these people? Is Cathy O'Brien's book, The Transformation of America, is that a true story? Now, I read that book and I tell you now, that put the hairs up in the back of my neck when I was reading about these politicians. Now, Trump didn't get a mention in the book, not that I can remember, but Hillary Clinton certainly got a mention in the book. And Cathy O'Brien, she claimed that Hillary Clinton raped her. Can a woman rape a woman? Well, I suppose she couldn't, in a way. But she's claimed that in the book. She claimed Dick Cheney did also, Henry Kissinger, George Bush Sr. I mean, she was naming all these top politicians as being psychotic rapists, and yet she's never been sued. Now, you can Google Cathy O'Brien. She gave a wonderful speech at the Grenada Forum in the United States. She was on for a good hour and a half, talking about her experiences in MK Ultra, which was a CIA mind control program, how she was used as, I suppose, clickbait for politicians. That she'd be farmed around different politicians, gone from place to place, getting raped left, right and centre, and all the while under their mind control. Now, she said George Bush Sr. in her book was one of her handlers. So was Dick Cheney one of her handlers. Now, I'm not saying all this stuff is true, folks, but why would somebody write a book like that? And if it isn't true, how come she's never been sued? They've never sued her. Why? Because, as I said, the best form of defence against libel is the truth. Anyway, I'm going to go to an ad. I might play a song then when I come back, but I'll go to a ad. Let me see, Mark, that is next. I'll go to the ads and I'll be back to you in a couple of minutes. Talk to you very soon.
You're listening to Liffey Sound, www.liffeysoundfm.ie. Listen online. Community radio at its best.
Now, folks, you're very welcome back. That was the wonderful Canned Heat. Great tune. Great band. Great. They played Woodstock, believe it or not. Canned Heat. Always well worth to listen to. I had their album many, many years ago. I can't remember the name of it now. I think it was just called Canned Heat. But I lost it. I wouldn't mind getting it back again. There's some great tunes on it. If you like that sort of guitar music, there's some absolutely fantastic tunes. And as I said, they played Woodstock in 1969. And I think some of them are still alive. I'm not sure, but anyway, that's a great song. Let's work together. And that's what we should be doing, folks, all working together. But we don't, because we're all head cases. Anyway, I've got a few minutes left, and I'm going to end on a long song tonight. I've had a request in. Got a text message saying that I keep slapping my lips. Maybe I do, I don't know, I don't notice it, but I let it out of the podcast. A lot of radio presenters tend to do that. People tend to do that on the radio. Your mouth does be water, there's nothing you can do. That's why you should have a glass of water beside you, but I don't. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about before the break, Trump versus Clinton. What's going to happen tomorrow? Well, as I said, it doesn't really matter what happens tomorrow. The agenda that's going to be unfolding for the world is going to carry on regardless of who's in the White House. But it's going to be very interesting. As I said earlier on, if Hillary Clinton gets elected into the White House, she's going to introduce, and she said this herself a couple of weeks ago, she's going to introduce a no-fly zone over Syria. Now, if she does that, the Russians are going to breach it. Without a doubt, they're going to breach it. And God knows what's going to happen after that. If Trump doesn't get elected, as I said, there's going to be a lot of disaffected people in America on Wednesday. Particularly, Trump voters. And there is talk that this could probably lead to mass civil unrest in America if Hillary gets elected. Because, as I said, there's so much stuff out in the media, in the mainstream media as well. This is not just on the alternative media online or anything. This has gone mainstream. You've had Donald Trump coming out accusing Hillary Clinton of being a criminal. You've had all this stuff coming out, all these emails from WikiLeaks and stuff like that. Now, I don't trust WikiLeaks, I never have, folks. But you've got this stuff coming out regardless. And then you've got the FBI then dropping the investigation yesterday saying, there's nothing in it. No, Hillary's innocent. She's grand there. Carry on. And people are watching this, particularly Trump voters are watching this. And what they're saying is they're looking at this as a setup. That their man Trump should be in the White House, even though I don't think he's ever stood a chance, to be honest with you. But I'd like him to get elected, just for the fun of it. But I think Hillary's going to be their person in the White House because they've got so much on Hillary Clinton. I mean, getting back to that documentary I mentioned earlier on, the Clinton Chronicles, I don't even know if that's still available online. And if it is, you should try and get it and download it and hang on to it because it's very interesting. But even in that, there was accusations that the Clintons were importing tons upon tons of cocaine into the United States throughout the 70s, the 80s and into the 90s from Mena Airstrip, which was owned by the Clintons in a place called Mena in Arkansas, which is not far from Little Rock. That's where the Clintons come from, is Little Rock, Arkansas. And while Bill Clinton was the governor of Arkansas, apparently there was, all of this would have been Pablo Escobar's cocaine coming in to Mena, into America via Mena Airstrip, which was owned by the Clintons. Tons of the stuff a week. Now, if you've seen the recent Netflix sensation Narcos, now I've watched the 2 seasons of it, very interesting. Or if you've ever watched any documentary about Pablo Escobar, apparently he was exporting into the United States anywhere between $500 million and $1 billion worth of cocaine a week. A week, folks, throughout the 1980s and into the 1990s. Now you're talking trillions of dollars worth of stuff getting shipped into America. Not just via the Clintons' airstrip. There was probably plenty of other routes into America as well, but that was probably one of the main routes. And the Clinton Chronicles documentary highlights this. And just about everybody and anybody who would have known about this all met with mysterious deaths. The amount of deaths surrounding the Clintons, for a couple that are not at war with anybody, there's certainly a lot of dead bodies connected to them. And a lot of them are dodgy suicides. Like I said earlier, the guy that was found strapped to, I think it was 2 kids actually, 2 young boys. They'd witnessed something. Can't remember what it was. Something to do with Bill Clinton. And they were found with their hands tied behind their backs on railway lines with gunshot wounds to the back of the head. And it was listed like suicide. Double suicide. Well, come on. It's like Waco. We've all seen the famous video of the siege of Waco in Texas. And Bill Clinton, he would have been, I think he was president at the time. He was president at the time when Waco occurred in, I think it was 95, 94, 95, something like that. I've seen videos, and this video is in the Clinton Chronicles. Now, if you go onto any of the mainstream news websites or whatever, and you're looking at stuff about Waco in Texas, they will always show you this particular video of some FBI agents getting up onto the roof and being shot at from inside a window. But what they don't show you is the first 2 guys who got up onto the roof. Now, here's the thing that I learned from that video. First 2 guys that got up onto that roof, they got into a room. Now, these 2 guys, there was something special about the pair of them. Who they were was, they were 2 of Bill Clinton's personal Secret Service bodyguards. And they would have been privy to what was going on between Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. Remember the woman he never had sex with? Oh, she's 50 now, by the way. Anyway, these two guys were due to give evidence against Bill Clinton at a hearing to do with Monica Lewinsky. And they had been Secret Service agents, but what had happened was they had been moved from their Secret Service agent positions into the ATF, the Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms part of the FBI or whatever it is, the ATF. And they were the ones who were on the scene, because that's what they went to the Bronx Davidian's place in Waco, Texas for, because they said David Koresh had guns and blah, 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 blah. They just wanted to live off grid. They wanted nothing to do with the government. This is why they went after them. Anyway, those two guys were sent in there, and they were sent up onto that roof first, and they got into the room. And what they don't show you on the mainstream media, but they do show you in the Clinton Chronicles, is that after those two guys got into that room, another ATF agent got up onto the roof and started lobbing hand grenades into the room while these two guys were in there. This was an assassination, is what that was. And believe it or believe it not, some people might say, that's a bit of a big conspiracy just to kill two people. Listen, there's nothing they would not do just to get two people. They will down an airplane just to get one person if they're on that flight and they need to shut them up. They'll sacrifice everybody else on that plane. So don't kid yourself that they wouldn't mysteriously put these two agents who were due to give evidence against Bill Clinton into the ATF, send them to Waco during the siege, put them on the roof, put them in a room, and then have someone else lob hand grenades in behind them. You might say that's a giant conspiracy. Well, I urge you go and look at this video. It's all there. You know the old saying, the camera doesn't lie. So that's those two out of the way then. You know, and there's plenty of other people who are connected to the Clintons over the last 30 plus years who have met mysterious deaths. You couldn't make this stuff up, folks. And this is what's so worrying about Hillary Clinton getting into the White House tomorrow. You know, the world is going to be a very, very different place after she gets elected. You know, it seems we have all these nutty women getting into positions of power. You know, you've got Angela Merkel in Germany, you've got Theresa May in the UK. We will soon have Frances Fitzgerald in this country. She's making a name for herself in the political circles. You know, and it seems women are, I'm not saying women shouldn't rule the world, why not? Might be a nicer place if they did. But not Hillary Clinton. She's a head case. And as I said, I want Donald Trump. This is my own personal opinion. I want Donald Trump to win. And the only reason I want him to win is not because I like Donald Trump, because I don't. I think he's an absolute globalist scumbag. I want him to win because the news is going to be a bit more interesting for the next 4 years. I mean, can you imagine sitting down to your tea every evening, putting on the 6 o'clock news, and Hillary Clinton popping up all the time? It'll be depressing. But at least with Donald Trump, be a bit of crack. And that's the way I'm going to look at it. Anyway, I have come up to the end of the show. It is 5-2, and I'm going to play out with a long song. And I've been asked to play this song. Now, I'm sure you're all aware of my theme tune. It's from the Matrix, Rage Against the Machine. The song is called Wake Up. The first 30 seconds of this song is what I use for my theme tune. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to end the show on the full song. And I'm playing this for John, my niece's boyfriend. He's asked me for this song. He's been asking me for weeks, actually. Should play that song, should play that song. So tonight I'm going to play that song. That's what I'm going to do. Because, and this is for all the Americans out there. If there's anyone in America listening to this, this is what you need to do. You really need to wake up and realise that Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are one and the same person. You know, it even come out in the media today that they're actually distant cousins. So nothing surprises me. They're all related to each other. That's how these people get into positions of power. It's based on your genes, not on whether you're good or not at the job or whatever it is. But anyway, folks, until next week, this has been The World You Don't Know. Now, I won't be here next week myself. I have to take the day off. I've got things to do next Monday. But I will hopefully pre-record next week's show and put it onto the system. So the show will still go out next week anyway, but it won't be live. So if you wanted to text in, you won't be able to. There'll be no point. So until next week, folks, remember the world is full of great people, and if you can't find one, be one. So until next week, folks, take care, and I'll talk to you all very soon.
To 10 p.m. Monday night on Liffey Sounds. The world you don't know. The world you don't know. 9 to 10 p.m. Monday night on Liffey Sounds.